Hi guys. We haven't done a video for a few days now. That's because I've been running around doing my yearly visa renewal. So I was just going to make a quick video on that. The ins and outs of renewing your visa and some of the dramas you get, that sort of thing. And this year I've had a couple of dramas. So yeah. Okay, so once a year I'm on a Thai spouse visa, Thai wife visa. Most other people are on Thai retirement visas, yeah. So I'm specifically on a marriage with Thai visa. So once a year, you have to front up an immigration and renew for another year, ahead of time for the next year, etc. Now, because I've elected to go on a marriage visa, it's a slightly different process to renewing a retirement visa. Yeah, retirement visa, you stick some money in the bank. It's still your money, it just has to be in the bank to show in Thailand. Your money in the bank, normal a whole pile of documentation, copy of your passport, copy of this, copy of that. You front up, you get a stamp. 2 hours later, you've got a stamp in your passport and you're ready to go. The marriage visa, slightly different process. And what I like to do the marriage one. There's a couple of reasons. It's less money in the bank. I can, if I choose to, or someone offers me a job, I can work. A couple of other minor details which I'll probably think of in a minute. So with that in mind, the process started 2 months ago. Because on the day you apply for your visa, you have to have had money in the bank for 2 months previous. So, I'm start of August now. I went down start of July, start of June. So at the start of June, I had to go and make sure I had money in the account, topped up to the amount of 400,000 Thai baht, around $20,000 Australian. As I said, it's still my money, it sits in the account, everything. What I do is I have an Australian dollar account in Thailand. So I put the equivalent of 400,000 baht, 20,000 Australian, in an Australian dollar account. So it's in Thailand, in the bank, in Australian dollars. So I don't have to stuff around and worry about exchange rates going up, going down, and because invariably the day you've got to bring it from Australia, the exchange rate's gone down. So I don't have to worry about that. So 2 months ago, I made sure I had my 400,000. I put a little bit extra. I put about 10% extra just to cover if the exchange goes up or down. So I think I put 450, the equivalent of in the bank, just to sit there. Yeah, because if it's got to be 450 all for that 2 months the whole time, it can't go below 400. So so to cover in case there's an exchange rate dip, I put a little bit extra in. Okay, that brings us up to the present day, or last Friday when we first went in. So, last Friday I got fired up the printer. I have an old bubble jet printer here in the corner. Takes me a couple of hours to get that going every year because that's all it does. I only pull it out to print my paperwork. Finally got all that going. Printed out. It ends up being literally a pile of documents about that thick because you need 2 copies of everything. So you need a copy of your passport, copy of your current visa, copy of your marriage certificate, copy of your house deeds, copy of your it's a whole lot of stuff on the list. So you just work your way through the list, make up 2 copies of everything because there's got to be 2 copies. You need to have a couple of photos. So just a photo of us on the lounge, a photo of us out the front of our condo block with the name behind us, that sort of thing. So 2 or 3 photos showing you are married and you're together, etc. That sort of thing. Anyway, we're pretty confident because we've done this 2 or 3 times before. So we fronted up last Friday and it all looks like it's going to go through. Everything's good. She goes, "Where's your insurance?" Huh? So to explain that, there's a different visa called an OA visa that you get from Australia. You get a visa in Australia, you come to Thailand. It's pretty easy to get in Australia. You're doing it in English, you don't have to tackle anything in Thailand. You come to Thailand, you can stay for a year. Actually, you can stretch it out to about 2 years if you know how. But you get a year to stay here. You don't have to have bank accounts. You don't have to do anything, So it's a pretty good visa. It's the visa I started on 6, 7 years ago. They recently brought in some rulings that if you get that visa now, you need to get health insurance, okay? Or if you extend that visa, the year after year after year thing, you need to get health insurance. But only if you extend it for retirement. This does get confusing, I know. I'm extending for Thai partner, so I don't need insurance. It's written in the legislation, it's da-da-da. Anyway, at the immigration office, they insisted otherwise. No, you're extending your visa, da-da-da, you need insurance. And that's not small change, that's a couple $1,000 for the insurance they want you to take out. So anyway, walked out of there last Friday, very vexed indeed. Started chasing up a couple of insurance options, that sort of thing. Anyway, sat and thought about it over the weekend and did a bit of research and found all the immigration legislation, etc., which is a task in itself because you're finding it in Thai, it's written in Thai, etc., and you've got to find it, translate it, whatever. Anyway, found the appropriate section, and Monday morning, and Anne rang up a immigration advice line or whatever and asked them about it, and they sort of half agreed. They didn't actually say we were right, they half agreed and said no, you shouldn't actually need insurance. So anyway, we head back down there Monday morning and we did have success. We did manage to convince them that I don't need insurance. So that was good. We all of a sudden saved ourselves a couple $1,000, or saved me a couple $1,000. So that all went through, which is quite good. So that little drama aside on Friday, yesterday, Monday, we went in, everything's good. We're now done most of the process, so I have a stamp in my passport saying, yes, your application has been accepted, it's all good, all the paperwork's good. It does have to go to Bangkok for final approval, so it takes about 3 weeks to come back from Bangkok. But that's a given, that just happens. But in the meantime, before it goes to Bangkok, we get a home inspection. Right? Immigration actually rings us and they'll come round to our house here. And we're waiting on that today, which is half the reason I decided to do a video. I've got nothing to do. So sometime today, 1 o'clock today or something, hour or so, we'll probably get a phone call. Immigration will come in. They really do nothing. They just look in the door and do, you guys look like you live together. Yeah, no problem. It's just to stop people scamming, some getting a girl taxi driver or something and getting her to pretend she's your wife or something, It's really just measures to stop that. So when this inspection takes place, there'll be a snapshot, us standing at the door or something, We have to provide a witness, somebody that knows us. So we'll just go out down to our office at the condominium block here, one of the girls there, we'll just get them, and again there's another photo together. Immigration packs all that up and that's the last you see of them, So as you can see, it's a bit of a process, but not that much of a process, I think the retirement visa is a whole lot easier. a whole lot less paperwork. You're only going to be over 50 years old, and you can go ahead with that. However, as I said before, retirement visa, you strictly cannot work at all. You need to keep $800,000 in the bank, which is the equivalent of about $40,000 and $35,000 Australian or something in the bank. So it's a bigger chunk of money in the bank. For some reason, you have to keep most of that in the bank and you can't touch it for your retirement visa. The spouse visa, you only need money in there for 60 days before you apply. After that, you can take it out and spend it. So this is what happens. As soon as I get my stamp in the passport, I'll start spending that money. That'll be my money to spend for the next 6 months, 8 months, whatever. And then so long as I top it up 2 months before next year's date. Alright, I hope that explains a little bit about visas and the dramas and things. One thing you have to consider, a lot of people call it a visa, and I've been calling it a visa, right? The visa is the initial document you get to come to Thailand. When you first come into Thailand, you're on a visa. You know, you get it in Australia, you get it in a country next door, you can get some in the country, but your visa is your initial stay. You stay for 60 days on a tourist visa, 90 days on a I'm visiting a Thai friend visa, a year on a education visa, a married visa, a retire visa, etc. Right? So once that visa ends, you don't extend your visa, you extend your stay in Thailand. So my visa ran out 6 years ago. Right? I came here with a year visa, it finished. Ever since, I've been extending my stay in Thailand every year. It's just a little subtlety that everyone calls it a visa, but a lot of the time you can get yourself in trouble referring to it as a visa if it's not a visa. Yeah, you can ask a question and say, what's the immigration ruling on if I have a visa for XYZ? If you're actually on that first year of your stay when you're on a visa, the answer to the question is XYZ. If you're on an extension and your visa's finished, the answer to the question is ABC. You know, it's a different answer to a different question. Just something, you see people get in trouble. Oh, a good chance this is the immigration man. No, it's not the immigration man. Right, sorry about that. I'll have to edit, cut. Alright guys, I'll leave it there because that's all I can think of. That's all I had written down on my sheet, what to rattle on about. As I said, any questions, put them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer questions about all this sort of stuff. But it's more just, yeah, the art of Zen Buddhism and getting a Thai visa. It's an exercise in patience a lot of the time. Alright, I'll leave it there. Okay guys, cheers.